Hey everyone, John from ARTV. It's time for a review of the new album by rock band Balance and Composure. The new one is called Light We Made, and I was pretty excited for this one, especially after hearing the fantastic lead-off single, Postcard. Easily the most unique thing this band has ever created. I really enjoyed their last album. I actually own a copy of it on CD. Just really enjoyed the rough around the edges, kind of raw feel that Balance and Composure seemed to strike, and it really lived up to their name. And with this new album, I was excited to see what they were going to do with never making the same album twice, as their lead singer was so emphatic about. And they definitely didn't. This album is much more mellow. It definitely hits with like a slow burning fuse, and the payoff is definitely there sometimes. And I know I've been saying that in a lot of my reviews recently, but I've honestly felt like a lot of this music that I'm reviewing and the albums that I just tend to pick, I suppose, the ones that I want to cover, they just end up working out and sounding like this. And it's not always a bad thing, but in Balance and Composure's case, I suppose it does get a bit tiresome, especially whenever you find yourself not being able to pick songs out of a lineup. I mean, I've listened to this album maybe 10 times at this point, just to play it over and over again. Sometimes it was in the background, sometimes I was sitting there paying attention to it, and I kept zoning out, and I'm thinking to myself, I want to like this, and I probably should like this more than I do, but I just don't. The album doesn't strike as that unique to me, and while there are some great songs on here, as a whole, I'm not really in love with this project at all, not even really enjoying it enough to the point where I'll be coming back to it for repeated listens down the road. Now, there are some really killer songs on here. I already mentioned Postcard being absolutely fantastic. The drums on that one, they're just so sticky. I love the fast-paced kind of program feel of them. It doesn't take away from the rock aesthetic at all. I feel like it just adds something new, and it's exactly what this band needed. The music video that goes along with it as well, holy shit, you're going to trip balls. This thing is crazy, and I love the thing that they're doing, even with that and the After Party music video as well. Really very enjoyable. I like the track After Party as well. It's not maybe a top-notch favorite or just a full-fledged fantastic track, but it definitely gets the job done. It's kind of a more back to their roots type track, and I feel like they do that on a few songs here, but there's just not enough flair to really make these tracks distinguishable from each other to keep me coming back for more. In fact, I'm wondering what Balance and Composure has for us in the future, because with some of these tunes I see them taking new steps, and with other ones I see them just kind of miring in this little rut that they've found for themselves. And I like aspects of some of these tracks, like Call It Losing Touch, for example. Love the guitar tone on that one. Reminds me of some of their earlier work and some other bands that play similar music. Very enjoyable, but as the song goes on, I'm thinking it's just like a touch too long. A track, Call It Losing Touch, and maybe they've lost a bit of their touch. I think it's just something that's not going to be everyone's cup of tea. I mean, there's tracks here that do have aspects that I enjoy, but just the lyrical content and even the vocals on this one, they don't seem as engaging, and I understand that they're going for a totally different style here, a unique presentation. I definitely think they succeeded in that. It's just something, like I said, it's not going to work for every fan of this band or even every fan of rock music in general. Now, Postcard, definitely one of my favorite songs of the year. Love that one. I just love the way it's presented. It's kind of like a distant memory just fading. You wrote this postcard for someone, you left it on the nightstand, and you're just kind of having flashbacks to it. It's almost like an acid trip where you get like flashes to it later on in life, and you're wondering, oh, did I do that right? Did I do the right thing here? And with Postcard, I love the way it plays out. It is a little bit longer than maybe what you would expect for something, and it does feel a bit tiresome, a little bit tedious, especially with repeated listens if you sit there and loop it over and over again. But I have to admit, this is a fantastic jam. I really don't have any complaints for it. That was a complaint that I think someone else would see, not me personally. Honestly, I don't think there's that much that this album has to offer. There's plenty of skippables. I mean, it starts off with a kind of a weird backtrack track called Midnight Zone. It's one that kind of threw me for a loop. It's kind of catchy, but it's kind of also boring and dull. And then right after that, we get into Spinning, another one that I just feel like kind of is middle of the road territory. It's not blowing any minds. I think the only other track that I would say that I'm absolutely in love with is probably track number 4. That's For a Walk. And that's one that really sees them playing with some of the more of those wild synthesizers. They just get a little bit loud and like roar at some points, and I love how it adds a lot, and the vocals are kind of put to the background on this one, like set on the back burner. They focus on the instrumentation and they really nail the vibe. I don't want you guys to think that I hate the other songs that are on this record. I mean, I enjoy Loam a whole lot. I think that's a really solid closer, and honestly that one has grown on me the more I listen to it, the more I pay attention to the lyrical content. I like the story that's being presented to us there, and its atmosphere. For a closer, it's absolutely fantastic, and I will commend Balance and Composure for that. It's just that a lot of them in between, like Mediocre Love, and then parts of Call It Losing Touch, even Fame and Is It So Much to Adore, just either get a bit monotonous or a bit stale just as we go on, and I find myself zoning out, focusing on other things, and that's not really a good thing. I am a little bit disappointed, I should say, maybe a little bit more than disappointed in the new Balance and Composure record, Light We Made. I'm going with a 3 for this one. Be sure to leave a like on my review of Light We Made, and let me know your thoughts on the record in the comments section down below. If you have not heard it yet, there's a link to listen to the album in the description. Thanks so much for being here today. If you would like to see my review of their last record, or a recent review that I did on this channel, you can check out those little annotations that are floating down there. I love this new outro card thing. It's fantastic. Thank you so much to Hannah for designing that for me. I don't know. Thanks for checking out the review today, guys. That's all I have to say. I'm going to sum it up here, and I hope you stay around for more. And be sure to subscribe, because friends don't let friends go unsubscribed, and I will see you guys very soon right here on ARTV.